What I want to talk about now is the cold reading. At a lot of auditions, you're going to be asked to come into the audition and read from the script. You'll be working with a partner. Maybe several people will be up on stage at the same time. There are some tricks to doing a cold reading that I want to go over that may help you have a better audition. It's called a cold reading because you haven't had a chance, supposedly, to read the script. This is especially true with new plays. But they are going to have at the audition sides, in other words, scenes for you to read. They may have scripts for you to read. When you arrive at the audition, and get there early, when you arrive, ask if you can take a look at the sides, or ask if you can take a look at the script. Directors want people to do well at the audition, so they're not going to try to hide this from you. They want you to have a chance to read through it so that you will do better for them. The last thing I want to, as a director, I want to sit through are terrible auditions. I'm rooting for you. I want you to do well. So get there early and ask if you can read the sides. If at all possible, if they've put the sides online or they've been made available ahead of time, take advantage of that. Make sure you look at the stuff that you need to read. This way you can look up words that you don't know and make sure you have all the correct pronunciations. That's one way I can tell somebody didn't really want to roll. They show up for the audition and they don't know how anything is pronounced. If I'm there early and I see that there's a word that I may not know, ask. There's nothing wrong with asking someone, the stage manager or even the director, if they're available. Ask them, is this how you pronounce this? And that way you'll get a better audition. If you're auditioning on film, it's extremely important that the first line of dialogue is memorized and the last line. That's because it will allow you to look directly into the face of the person you're working with or directly into the camera, whichever they have you doing. This is also can be very helpful on live performance. I want to look up as much as possible. What happens in a lot of auditions is people get the script and they spend the whole time looking at it. So if I'm playing the scene with you, there are all kinds of fanatics in the world. Before I knew Jesus, I was a disco fanatic. They're playing all their energy down into the script. And what I want to do is I want to look you. I want to make eye contact as much as possible. This way, it allows me to play my objectives stronger. And if you're going to do this, decide what the objective of this character is. What do I want? And then work to get that as I play off the person that I'm acting with. And it allows the director watching me do this see my face, see me make these choices, which I can't do if my face is totally into the script. Okay, so I would come in, I look at this piece, there are all kinds of fanatics in this world. Before I knew Jesus, I was a disco fanatic. Okay, I memorized that. Then I put my finger by the next line, my thumb, it's marking it. So now we start the scene. There are all kinds of fanatics in this world. Before I knew Jesus, I was a disco fanatic. I started disco to see, and now I can look down at the script, look down, and I come back to you. But at least I got those first two lines directly to the camera, directly to the person that I'm acting with. I follow the script with my thumb. I just go line by line down. So while the other person is speaking, I will look down quickly, drop my thumb down to the next line that I have, and then look back at them. Responding will make you have a better audition. In other words, the more I'm giving this person, the more I'm looking into their eyes as they speak to me, the better I'm going to look to that director. And one of the problems that a lot of people do at auditions is while the other person is speaking, you're down there looking at your script, looking at your next line instead of listening to them. Trust me, you will do much better listening to that other person speak. When they finish, look down and then talk back to them. Don't be looking at your script while they're speaking. Make strong choices. I once read that the mark of a great actor is making strong, interesting, and intelligent choices. I believe that's totally true. I don't want to do my audition the way everyone else did it. I'm going to choose to do things in my own way. I'm not going to play it safe. Take chances. The more chances you take, the more stage presence you'll seem to have, and the more you'll be remembered. I would much rather an actor, when I'm directing, I'd much rather an actor make some choices that were totally wrong for the character, but they committed to those choices. This will allow me as a director then to give them some notes and ask them to do it a different way. And then you look brilliant if all of a sudden you do a complete change, taking the directions that you were given and do it the way the director is now asking. It makes you look like a much, much better actor and the kind of actor that directors will want to work with. Take chances. Listen to that other person. Try to keep your face up as much as possible. Know what you're saying and go after whatever objective that you've decided that character wants. If you do that, you're going to do better reading at auditions when you do your cold readings. More later.